All right, everybody, welcome to the first installment of our live talk show, I guess you can call it. It is called Cold Start, and we're going to be doing topics on anything car related, whether it's EVs, V8s, or drifting, or racing, or
off-roading,
whatever it may be. Whatever's happening.
Anything car related.
Whatever's happening in the car world today, we're going to be talking about. So, we have RJ here today, and his Tesla is right here. This is a Model Y, isn't
Performance.
it? Model Y Performance. And funny thing about RJ is, before he had this, he had a C7 Z06 Corvette. So
that got traded in for the Tesla.
Quite a difference there. So
Very
he's I wouldn't say a strictly EV person. RJ's a very performance-oriented taste in cars, but he does have an EV, and he did come from a high-performance gas car, so that would be a good perspective we have today on the show. And then obviously we got Charles here, S550 Menace, the Menace to Society over here, and obviously he has a V8, so you know we kind of have different perspectives. You guys already know where I stand on the whole deal. So EVs versus internal combustion engine. First of all, let's just get that out of the way. When we say ICE, we are referring to internal combustion engines, ICE. So you guys might see that acronym a lot. ICE means a gas motor or a diesel motor, internal combustion. So anyway, EVs versus ICE. What is your personal experience? Now we'll go on to our opinions on it later, but just the real deal from going from a gas performance car, now you have this, which is probably as fast or faster than the Z06.
I think it's probably just as fast
as a Z06.
Off the line. I think off the line it would beat the Z06, but the Z06 having the V8 supercharger, it would definitely start picking up on the Tesla. I haven't tested it. That's something we should do.
But it feels.
Oh man,
feeling wise,
the launch on the Tesla is by far a lot more prominent than it was in the Z06. The Z06 was just like you unleashed hell, and it just bolted, screaming like crazy.
Yeah.
This car, as soon as you press on the gas, because the weight's so low to the ground, it's so balanced. It puts the power right to the wheels very efficiently, and it feels like a rocket ship, but there's no noise, which is my only complaint.
Yeah.
I just miss the V8 noise, like the noise of an engine, just going up the rev range.
Well, it does make the little aura noise, doesn't it?
Well, since it is a cold start, let me go ahead and do a cold start on the Tesla.
We're gonna do a cold start on the Tesla, guys. Listen to this.
If you can hear it.
Okay, it's on. I just turned the AC on so it has some noise. It's figuring itself out.
This is pretty freaky.
Yeah. When this thing does updates on its own, it'll just be in the thing, and all of a sudden we'll hear click pings and all these random noises of it updating.
So it's on. That was the cold start.
Oh.
That was it.
Oh.
No
noise.
You
did turn it on.
You did turn
oh wait,
it on.
it's not even connected on Bluetooth.
Damn, it would have been great if your car had remote start.
I mean, it's really no competition.
Yeah, with this thing 3, man.
I mean, it's
biggest difference is with the Tesla, the phone is your key.
Oh Lord.
Oh, that's the AC, by the way. Yeah. So at least that
That's
works.
as loud as it gets inside the garage with the AC on. Besides that, you hear no noise.
I know when you put it in drive, it makes this futuristic sound.
You mean do it?
No, I mean, yeah, sure. Because EVs make these noises so
Yeah.
that
it's specific.
you can't creep up on anyone and run someone over.
Technically, you do have to have some type of sound, I would think.
It actually is pedestrian safety law. You have to have some type of sound. That's why a lot of these EVs and hybrids have a weird noise.
It's like a warping.
There's the noise.
So you get that kind of.
So you know there's something there.
Yeah, you know there's something behind you. Absolutely. Okay.
Yeah. In the boombox.
God. All right. Well,
Yeah.
now I can't hear from this.
Remember that.
All right, so yeah, that was the noises that it makes. So,
What inspired you to get this? Because you did have that Z06 at first.
So the biggest thing was at the time of the Z06, when I bought it, me and my wife had just gotten pregnant, and so I already knew I had a couple of months with it. So when it got to the point about 7 months or so, she was having a hard time getting into the car and out. So that's when I figured it was time to move to something a little bit more family friendly. I also have a dog, and so we wanted a car that we can have the dog in the back, the baby in the car, and something that we could just keep for a long time, do our road trips on, not have to worry about gas. New technology, kind of just experience what the new technology is, if we even like it. So far, we really like it. Definitely going to stay with us, but I need an engine.
So, since you said that you already went ahead and got this, and that you are looking forward to going back to, I would say, like another V8. Like, is there like any car in particular you're thinking of, or are there like options?
So after having the Z06, I don't do a lot of track days or autocrosses. Most of my driving is done on the street. So with the issue I had with the Z06 was I could only use 30% of what that car could do. I couldn't really play with the rev range, the power, before being like at like ridiculously illegal speeds. So I think if I were to go back to a V8, either a C7 manual is on like Grand Sport. A Grand Sport manual.
a manual Grand Sport. How much
I think
power
would
does
be-
a Grand Sport have?
I think close to 500.
All right, so tell me this: what do you think about the Mustang Dark Horse that has 500 horsepower?
It's a 508.
After seeing that just yesterday, it depends on what that price is going to be. If that price is going to be under, well, if it's a GT, they're going to have to make it affordable. So that would probably change my mind a good bit.
So
Yeah,
let's do this. You recently took a road trip in the Tesla, right?
yeah.
Where did you go?
Destin, Florida. It's about 8.5 hours away.
It's about how many miles? Like probably like 500 miles.
Yeah, 500-600 miles to Destin.
Let's look it up real quick.
Because 5 hours. Wow, yeah.
Okay, Google. How many miles is it from Memphis to Destin, Florida?
It's about 600.
Destin is 504 miles away from Memphis.
Oh,
500.
on the money, boy.
500 miles.
500 miles. All right, so you did 500 miles in the Tesla. How many times did you stop to charge?
Well, this was our first.
How does that even work?
This was our first road trip, so I was super paranoid. The car would tell me, like, when you put in the navigation to Destin, it does the full route for you, but it automatically builds in all the Tesla stations on the way.
Like supercharging stations?
Yeah, all the supercharge stations all the way, and it would know when there's like a gap of charging, so it would tell you to charge for like 20 minutes over at this place, 25 minutes over here, and then it would tell you based off of that what your percentage of battery life would be when you got to the next charging station.
So it doesn't necessarily like wait till it's all the way about to die before it's like, hey, you gotta fill
No,
up.
based on how you drive, it automatically adjusts the battery range. It was actually really cool. The first stop in like Tupelo, Birmingham, it's set to just charge for about 15 minutes.
Yeah,
So from here to Birmingham is I think like 150 miles.
something like that, I'm sure.
Whatever it is, there was for all the way down there was a charging station from here to Birmingham and in the middle. From there to Montgomery, there was one spot in the middle. So it wasn't really that bad in terms of range anxiety.
So range anxiety is what a lot of people really have.
I think that's
really,
one of the biggest crucial points that is
Yeah.
preventing people from jumping into EVs.
basically, yeah.
Besides also like the high price. Like this was total like $65,000 before they just increased the price. Like after we bought it, they increased it by like I think $3,000 the price.
But
So you looking at
how much is a Model 3? That's like in the 30s, right?
50, 40.
Plus, this is
48.
brand new, right?
Yeah, we got a brand new just because
Yeah.
at the current economic times that we have, all the prices are just really high for everything.
Right.
It just didn't make sense to just buy a used one. So we just bit the bullet. We saw that Teslas are sold out until like 2023, 2024 are sold out for the Model Ys exactly. So we were like, the value should hold in case we don't like it and we want to switch back to like an ICE car, to where we felt it was a safe bet to go ahead and try it out.
So you stopped about how many times on the way to Destin?
Like 4 times?
Like 4 times. So you stopped 4 times, each time about 20 minutes to do a quick charge.
Yeah.
So
Sometimes it would tell me charge 15. Like when I got to Tupelo, it said to go ahead and just charge for 15 minutes. And then by the time, if I followed that, I would have maybe like 10% battery range by the time I got to Birmingham, to where it would tell me to charge 30 minutes. But I would go ahead and charge full 20 minutes everywhere I went. I didn't want to have that range anxiety.
So then that's the thing. If you really think about it, driving the Xterra, not even to I drove the Xterra to Kentucky, Land Between the Lakes, which is only a 4-hour drive or something. And
Kentucky's only 4-hour drive?
to Land Between the Lakes.
Oh.
Kentucky's like right there, so it's probably a lot.
It's not that far,
It's,
yeah.
right. It's really.
Oh yeah, it's right up. Okay.
Yeah, I would think realistically, I mean like an hour.
I've never driven
hour and a
it.
half. Probably less than that.
That's from McConnell State. I don't want to go there.
We keep it extremely about car. But
There's ghosts.
Land Between the Lakes, it's about 4 hours. It's about 3.5 hours. It's about 200
Okay.
miles.
About the same from here to Birmingham.
So so I took the Xterra to Land Between the Lakes. Given it's not a normal commuter car anymore, it has 33s and big wheels and stuff. But let's just say, just for argument's sake, the Xterra gets about 14 miles a gallon, okay? Which is pretty average for a larger SUV, not counting crossovers. But if you're talking about like a Tahoe or a Pathfinder or a Explorer Expedition, you're going to be about 15 to 20
15
miles a gallon.
Yeah.
Right?
Mhm.
So I stopped like 4 or 5 times
So about the same.
on the way to Land Between the Lakes.
Oh jeez. Okay, so that's cool. Okay, so
Yeah,
4 or 5 times, 20 minutes each. That's like 80 minutes.
correct.
That's about an hour 20.
So then you got to factor the other stuff in. If you're on a family vacation, and all right, forget the Xterra. My girlfriend's GX, that gets 18 miles a gallon.
Yeah.
That's still about, from here to Maryland, that's still about 4 stops.
That's pretty impressive for that size car.
So like only on the highway though.
The Mustang, even when I travel to Atlanta, I'm only doing 1 stop, and that's in Birmingham, and then I can finish the rest of the way out.
Does your Mustang turn off 4 cylinders?
No,
No.
thank
Okay.
God.
All 4 cylinders are on.
Yeah.
That was one thing with the Z06 that was annoying.
It's the number one problem with Chevy engines. And they
Yeah,
go-
because the transmission would like get all sorts of wonky whenever it would cut the 4 cylinders off.
Yeah.
Whenever I'd go back on the gas, all the computer would just have like a brain fart, and it would take a second for it to figure out like what gear it needed to be in and to put the 4 cylinders back into motion.
Oh,
Yeah.
no, yeah.
It was-
There's
It's
delete
like-
kits and all kinds of shit for that.
I wish I could just like cut that
You
off.
can. That's what a lot of people do. I put a motor in a Tahoe because that system messes up the engines.
Yeah,
every time.
What about
I
that system
felt it.
messes it. It just cuts it off.
The way it shuts the cylinders off is the lifters in there. It stops sending them oil pressure. So then, if you're not like super on top of your oil changes, like doing them early every time, and you're putting so much wear on those parts, and then it starts tapping, and then the cam goes, and the lifters go, and the push rod goes, and it's like, all right.
It's like a full breakdown.
Yeah, that's what happened to this dude. It was like he had one lifter go bad, and I was like, "Yo, just to replace that one lifter, it's $3,600, and the car has 200,000 miles on it. You
Can I
really,
get a hell no.
you really want to put $3,600 into this 200,000 miles? So we put a new engine in it.
Like
But
it's
still,
right.
they had to
Listen.
come out for a new engine.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's still.
It's still coming out your pocket. It's still a lot of money getting spent.
But yeah, point being, when you're factoring in, you're on the road trip and you have kids or family or friends or whatever, you make that stop in a gas car. Yeah, your argument might be, okay, it only takes me 5 minutes to fill up. But yeah, now you gotta wait for your wife or your girlfriend.
You gotta
and
change the baby's diaper.
change
feed
the
the
baby's
baby.
diaper. 3 of your friends hit the back of the convenience store. The other 3 friends are inside trying to find snacks. So you're basically there for 20 minutes
around
anyway.
10-15 minutes. Yeah,
Regardless. So
It makes sense.
as of right now, it seems to work out. But like, imagine if everyone has an EV, how a station is going to look like. You know what I mean? Like, how are you going to fit 30 EVs on a charger?
So every Tesla supercharging place I went to, they had 5. So like you could fit like maybe 6-7 cars total.
Yeah.
But the thing with the charging station is like there's one for every 2 units. They're connected by one main power thing. So if you have 2 Teslas next to each other, that one charger that's plugged into your car, the power is being split between your car and the car next to you.
Slow it down.
So your charging rate is slightly slower. Mm-hmm. So whenever you go to a Tesla thing, you'll see all the Teslas with a gap. And when another car pulls in, then that's the only time that gap gets filled. But most people automatically just had the gap.
Crazy idea. So like on my phone, I have like a pad that I can charge it with. You know, I just point on there as opposed to using the actual cord to plug it in. What about that idea?
The little Qi charger?
Yeah.
The problem with that is that's a very low amperage.
Yeah, it takes forever to charge.
So it charges, but it's just a cell phone battery, so it doesn't need to be high amperage. Now you're trying to charge the battery on this, you need a lot of current. So imagine the magnetic field you would have to create to like send that current wirelessly you'd be walking by and people's phones would be flying towards the charger. You know what I mean?
Oh, that's it. Everybody's phone, connected to. Let me just get my phone.
Okay,
Did you take it
so
out?
the 5 times you stopped going to Kentucky, how much did you spend just getting there, gas-wise?
That too.
It's
Actually, I can pull up the history that I had.
It costs about, these days, let's just say, during that trip, it was about $75 to fill up that truck.
75?
$75, and that truck, that's a 20-gallon tank, and it gets about 250 miles off of a
So
tank.
to get to Birmingham, I think it cost us maybe $22.
Yeah, it cost me 150 to get to between the lakes.
Wait, $20 total?
About
what you said?
$20 to $30
Total? What you spent charging?
to get to Birmingham.
Just to get to Birmingham.
So total trip like maybe like $100. Because on the way back, I tried to follow what they were telling me.
Yeah.
Just because I knew that on the way back there's a lot of charging networks and I won't have like my battery going dead. So I was trying to like trust what Tesla was telling me to do and charge for this amount, and we actually cut our time by like a good 30 minutes by listening to what Tesla did.
Okay.
So I guess depending on where you're going, that makes a huge difference too. I'm sure.
Yeah.
If you're trying to go to like
The issue that we had,
Nashville,
because
like
over in
Wisconsin
Destin, so right outside
Good
of,
luck.
like 30 miles west out of Destin, there's a place called Crestview. There was a charging network there, supercharger, but there wasn't one inside Destin. There was another one 30 miles east in Panama, but that one was closed, apparently. I met some Indian guys over at the one outside of Destin, and they said that they had to turn from there all the way back, leave Destin, just so they can charge their car fully, so they had battery like juice to last while they're in Destin for the weekend. And those guys were from Texas.
Texas to Destin. Oh yeah, you told me about these guys actually.
Yeah.
So, all right. Here's a next good transition is obviously we were talking about the Dark Horse earlier, and before the Dark Horse there was Dodge's little display of
Talk about the EV charger.
The EV charger, not an electric vehicle charger, but a Dodge Charger EV. Very confusing.
For those of you that haven't seen that,
Yeah.
beautiful looking.
So
car.
here's the thing, though: would you rather have that, or would you rather have a Dark Horse, or would you rather have an EV charger with a Hellcat engine?
Because I'm not opposed to how it
For
sounds.
me, it really it's really based on like the price range. Like the Dark Horse, most likely,
It's gonna be over 60, is what they're saying.
the Dark Horse is gonna be over 60.
The
Yeah.
Dark Horse is like what, the GT500 replacement, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's gonna replace the GT500, so they're not gonna make the Shelby GT500. I feel like that's a missed opportunity.
I mean, I think it is
with
a GT500, but it's a dark horse.
It's like the performance.
But it has a label of GT on there. That's confusing.
I just don't think. I think they've just changed their because it has a GT. It has.
So
As I say that because it's just a GT performance. That's just dark horse is a performance package.
Hell no, it's not a performance
that's
package.
I thought it was.
That's
an
what-
actual
that's
performance
what
package.
makes like it's like the Z51 package for the Corvettes.
Nah, the dark horse has like dual intakes.
Right.
Do I
It
need to look
has
this up right
500
now?
horsepower. It has
Right.
GT500 rods. You don't get all that with a GT base.
That's not a
No, but-
that's not a that's a performance GT.
That'd be like the
Like
Grand Sport.
separate from
Yeah,
the
but
base.
if you
This
got-
is
if
really
you
a
got-
base. But if I got the performance package,
You
V8
wouldn't get
GT,
it. You wouldn't
it
get a
would-
Voodoo engine if you got a perform. It would just be like suspension and brakes.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be an engine.
It would be
A whole new.
it'd be like the
It
Grand
would be
Sport.
like an extra 100 horsepower.
But I thought that new engine was going in all of the
Charles.
new S650s anyway.
I think it's
I thought
just
it was-
the dark horse.
how
gets
much
that.
how much power is in your Mustang?
I'm pushing like 390.
Okay,
Got
so
that tune,
so about
basically.
400.
Yeah.
And so the new Mustang GT with the new motor is naturally aspirated 500 horsepower.
On the dark horse?
On the dark
I don't know
horse.
if it
Dark
comes
horse.
on all
So
of them.
the regular Mustang GT
definitely call it
2024,
dark
how
horse.
much is just the regular GT motor horsepower going to be? Because it can't be that far off from what the dark horse is going to be.
I want to say it's over 400. 'Cause
Oh wow,
that's-
they've got remote rev where the engine can be started and revved by pushing a button on the key fob.
It would rev.
That's cool.
You know, you can scare the shit out of a lot of people.
That's exactly what I need.
Okay, apparently it does come with a dual throttle body motor in all the V8s, and it's 480 horsepower.
That's all.
Okay,
And
Yeah,
they're still
460
making the EcoBoost.
so what exactly is the dark horse?
Dark horse. It's the
Okay,
performance.
it's what
I
you're
think it's
saying.
a performance
It's-
package.
it's
like the
saying.
Z51
It's like a
performance.
performance
Yeah,
package.
Because Shelby's gonna probably come out with like a whole.
So then
brand
what?
new
The
650.
GT500 is gonna have like 700 horsepower or something?
Oh, that's gonna be the Hellcat.
I think in terms of Mustangs right now, the best value for Mustang is I think the GT350s.
I'm still
I think they're
tripping
right
off.
at-
They're
I think
able to
they're-
get away with a combustible engine like they do, like their Coyote
Well,
engine,
who's
as opposed to
everybody-
everybody else.
Who's
Because they're
everybody
making.
Camara's doing a gas motor.
I mean,
It's just
from the
not-
looks of what Dodge was doing, it looks like that was pretty much what everybody was gonna follow suit with.
I'll admit this. Dodge had me convinced big time
Right.
on that reveal. I was like, okay, look, if this is how we have to
A
do
4-day
it,
event.
I'll take that. If that's the way it's going, I'll take it.
It's shocking to me because I used to work.
And then everybody's like,
I used to work.
Fuck that.
Okay, when I was at Chrysler, that's when they started to do all the engineering for the Hellcat motors. For them to put all of that energy into building Hellcats to only have them run from 16 till now,
Think about how much money they made on Hellcats.
they made a ton of money. But
think about how much money the aftermarket made.
But when you're making the next gen, instead of going full EV, they could have done hybrid, just like the Acura
so
NSX,
that is
the BMW i8.
That's where I think the future.
I think
is.
Dodge really
they jumped the gun to
a little bit. I mean, like, okay, this is what they're doing with the new C8 Corvettes. They have all those high power V8s, but then they have a specific model, specifically EV. So maybe Dodge will come out saying that they have a hybrid variant of like the Charger.
I would take a hybrid Charger with a Hellcat
Easy.
and an electric motor.
Oh, yeah.
I would take that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, this new Charger they made it a 2-door, right?
It's a 2-door.
Yeah.
But it's a Ford. It's a sedan. It's a 2-door sedan.
It's like a 2+2.
Yeah, like the old Chargers were. Yeah. So, Charger or S650? EV Charger or S650 Dark Horse as it stands right now?
I need to know what the price of the new Charger is going to be.
It's going to be expensive. You
It's
can pretty
expensive.
much price it as a Plaid, I would say.
I go with the Mustang.
Maybe a little lower.
I'd go with the Mustang because I kind of like how that Mustang looks.
I think they did good on the looks on the Charger too, though.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful car.
It does
It
look
looks
good.
very
Beautiful car.
sleek.
The thing that killed the whole
Very
car
slick.
for me was the sound.
Really, I kind of liked it because
I don't know. The sound kind of plays into the actual name of
Yeah,
it, though.
I really
that
like
is
that.
like genius. My only issue was like how.
I mean, it's fake, but okay.
You
okay,
can play
what's-
That's the
whatever.
most. That's the most you're gonna get out of
but
an
what's
EV
the
motor, though.
alternative?
At least,
Silence.
at
And
least,
like,
look,
The
exactly.
alternative is complete silence.
Exactly.
at least the noise that this makes sounds like a futuristic.
But that's exactly what I'm
something.
expecting from
Just
that car.
like just when I got in, I put it in neutral to see if I could just kind of give like some rev. Nothing.
But like,
I was just
did
pressing
they
a
have
dead
to make
button.
it sound like a video game engine? Like, there's a lot of. They could have made it anything.
Like the bat pot.
They could have made their own
They could've
noise.
made- yeah.
You know what I mean? But they used this like.
But it
sounds
screams like a banshee. Like it. Like
Okay,
that's
It sounds
exactly.
like
Okay,
an
so-
angry bobcat.
Okay, so there's
It's in
one
your
thing.
trunk.
So there's one thing we don't know yet. On that sound, how is that sound being put in? Is it from like how your foot is on the accelerator, or is it like some button that you're like
So,
flicking up and down
I
to make the rev
I
noise?
think it's a button, dude, and I need to
You know,
look
think
at
it's
it.
a button?
You know, because like if you're driving, you want to make some rev noises. You have a little toggle switch. Vroom, vroom, you know, you could do that. That noise probably could have came from like some knob
Honestly,
versus a pedal.
that probably could have been from a button. Now that I think about it.
You know, like we don't know.
Yeah,
But
they didn't explain that.
I like the fact that they added that unique character to it.
Right.
They could have just done something different.
Because for a
I
Charger,
mean, just it's the name
It
that
sounds-
screams like it's
I mean,
the
but
same as
it
everything
it
else.
sounds like electric,
But-
like muscle, like
Right.
like this
It's
electric,
electric-
car is a little bit more muscular.
They weren't giving it up like their whole muscle car type of aspect.
What does it
of
say?
I'm trying to find out how this is. They said the same thing I said. How do you describe that sound? An ornery lion that just got neutered, a tracheotomy bobcat with a voice box. Like
That's a little aggressive.
The use-
Which article is this?
This
Who
is
wrote this?
The Verge. Let's come to a conclusion here.
Bringing it back home.
Everybody. All right. So EV versus internal combustion engine. Where are you standing? Where are we going to be at in 10 years?
In 10 years, I mean, 10 years, they're setting it up to where they want everything to be EV, but I just think that's unrealistic.
So what do you think is going to emerge victorious?
I mean, I think EV will emerge victorious off of the strength of them forcing it. It'll be a law.
I don't think so.
I mean, but they've already got it set for California. That's just one. That's one state that's already there.
California is.
I feel like the whole West-
California
and
is
then-
a
you can't even.
special-
I
I
can't
can't
even
even- I get-
listen to what happens in California.
I
That's
can't even
like-
listen compared to what we.
That's like, oh, China's doing something. Yeah, that's the same thing. You know what I mean? Like
California is
Okay.
one out of 50 states.
One out of
California
50?
doesn't let you own a
It's 1 out of
generator,
50.
a gas generator. California doesn't let you work on your own car in your garage, so you can't even talk
Alright.
about California.
Outside of this, then, it's the internal combustion. Like
You think the internal combustion is going to win in the 10 years?
I would think, yeah, I'm gonna have to give it to them. Outside of if counting that separate and internal combustion still stays, obviously nobody's really making a change. It just gives you different options for
Is
different
this?
types of.
Are we talking about like exactly 10 years out, or like as 10 years?
Let's just
progress?
say
As 10 years
in
progresses.
the
Okay,
future.
It's gotta be as 10
Okay,
years
right now we are
progresses, yeah.
10 years into the future. What we think?
Yeah, it's the
Oh.
year. It's the year 2035. What is everybody driving? Like, what's the
Oh,
solution?
it's still internal combustion still out there. You
That's
gotta be
the
fucked
that's
up.
the
Yeah.
solution. So they've made like a new, more efficient engine or something.
Yeah,
GR Corollas everywhere.
Okay.
everywhere.
What about you?
I think there's gonna be both.
Sorry, FedEx and all them be flying planes out here, so that's what in the background.
These planes wake the baby up.
For real?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like if he goes to sleep out in the back,
Yeah.
it's annoying.
All right.
Well, he ain't.
I think 10 years from now, the electric vehicles will be a lot cheaper. You'll definitely see a lot more of them on the road. I think a lot of people will start using EVs for like city driving, but for long trips, they'll use the internal combustion engines. But 10 years, like you'll have to progress very quickly in the technology and the manufacturing of it to bring the price down, and that's gonna be the biggest factor.
I can see public transportation.
Hybrids. The hybrids of electric and ICE are going to be the winners, because those are going to
Yeah.
be the ones that everyone right now, like even me right now, I'm looking into hybrids. Like if I swap out the truck, it'd be like the Sequoia hybrid.
I could see
Yeah.
hybrids really taking off.
I feel like that's going to be the bread and butter. The main focus is EPA, our emissions. That's the main issue that is pushing us towards EV, and that's why they're forcing it right now, just because they want to get that manufacturing and stuff started. I don't think they want to completely replace it by 2030. citizens won't let that happen. Like,
I mean,
they won't be able to afford that.
You can't expect everybody to buy a $50,000 car.
That's dumb.
You know, yeah.
So for the government or anyone to think that it's going to go full EV, you're thinking too far on the extreme, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You thinking 3,000?
It's going to be somewhere in the middle.
3250. That's what you're thinking of. 3250.
Because if you look at Europe and all these other countries, electric vehicles, small compact electric vehicles, are what most of their citizens are driving. And Europe has some of the cleanest air apparently.
Yeah. So I'm kind of on the same page as you. I think what we're gonna end up seeing is performance cars and big luxury cars are gonna, and you're gonna see a lot of hybrid power plants in sports cars and in luxury cars. And then I think you're gonna have these tiny little hatchbacks that are EVs for the city driving.
I think we're going to see a shit ton of hatchbacks.
So hatchbacks are
dude,
really...
I think hatchbacks are going to make a huge comeback.
I think
a huge comeback.
I think the whole hot hatch segment is going to be replaced with like electric hot hatches, and they're going to be cheap, and you can drive it from your house to your job down the street downtown, and those are what those are made for.
Yeah.
But I think really
small ranges means a lot less batteries, a lot lighter weight.
And I think the real winner of all of this is something that we don't know yet. Because we're all focused on...
It's still so new, yeah.
We're all focused on, gasoline engine or...
It's like gas versus EV, but it's going to be them working together.
And I think there might be a natural gas or an alternative fuel that works in internal combustion engines that just hasn't been discovered.
I think Acura hit it on the nail really well with the NSX. I think that...
Well, it's not just... I mean, everyone's been doing it. Like, the Camry, the Prius, it's been there, but people haven't accepted it. But now...
Yeah, there's people like scratching up Tesla just because they're EVs. I don't understand when people get so angry at EVs that they are willing to go and damage other people's EVs.
It's just because of what the government is doing. It's like EVs.
You're just angry at them.
Somebody has something to say, and you're not listening.
Like, what is wrong with us decreasing our need and requirement for gasoline? We're just trying to find an alternative just to kind of counteract. Because if we do that, then the price of gasoline, right now, our reliance on gasoline so much is what's driving the price up and down so much. Right. If we had EVs, there'd be less demand pressure on gasoline prices to where we could actually help our military by providing them cheaper gas by us having less demand for that gas.
First of all,
that's national security.
The military can pay for their own food. I don't worry about that.
But it's just an example, just a way of thinking it.
But you know that budget.
The demand pressure. a lot of it's demand pressure.
Yeah, I really think that there's gonna be an alternative fuel that works in your gasoline engine that's gonna be cheap and plentiful and sustainable. We just haven't found it yet.
Dr. Shrikant Gear.
Dude, imagine in 10 years.
Biodiesel.
Yeah, imagine in 10 years how much research can be done on alternative
What's that hippie van in the movie Cars?
The Volkswagen.
Hey, you want to try my synthetic fuel?
So there's another thing. How come we haven't done that? White mainstream. You and me we literally made diesel. Doing it. We went and we got used
with
vegetable
Dr. Gear.
oil.
Me, Prakash, and Zane did an elective with Dr. Gear to where we would drive out to Arkansas State University or something, and help him with his micro distillery.
He would
I met them all at University of Memphis, by the way. So
he had used oil from McDonald's,
and we turned it into biodiesel.
Us too,
freaking pure biodiesel.
Literally,
you could stick that into a diesel engine, and that shit would run.
Dr. Gear had y'all doing this for an elective.
Yeah, it was actually an awesome class.
It was actually one of my favorite classes.
And the even best thing is, it was just me, Arja, and Zane in that class.
That's why I'm just
just me and Arja.
I'm like, was this a class or is this when y'all eventually...
A little racial bias there.
No, just Because I know, like,
It kind of was
really cool
because
with y'all.
every day, dude, we'd be so excited because I'd be like, "Oh, it's time to go to class. Cool, let's go drive to Arkansas,"
So,
and then we would go.
It was funny because
How
like
would-
towards the end of that that semester of that class,
How's there only 3 of y'all?
there was really nothing to do where Dr. Gear just like threw us into like this project of like, well, I forgot what he had made us do, but we would have to track the pressure systems and everything of like distillery thing, find out like the peak optimum like pressure levels to make everything run properly, and it was completely hands off. We had no help, and it was like, here, figure this out.
It was pretty cool. It was pretty cool.
It was a really fun class, but yeah, biodiesel. Why like
That's really wild.
that would help a lot. Like there's so much fast food grease that could be turned around to help, and that was Mr. Dr. Gear's main thing was to bring these microcylinders to the war zones for the military base so they can make their own fuel.
And
on the
biodiesel,
spot.
biodiesel, the beauty, the key biodiesel is that it's sustainable. It's not a resource that
Corn oil.
Runs
You can
out.
use any vegetable oil and shit.
you
Yeah,
can
that's what I
use
think.
waste
Yeah,
oil.
basically, yeah.
You can use any type of petroleum. You know what I mean? So, like, I guess it's not renewable.
That's a good question.
But-
Why didn't that expand?
I saw it. I'll tell you.
Only thing I can think of is gas and oil and lobbying preventing that from happening.
But I mean, the gas companies are the diesel companies. It's the same petroleum.
That's what I say. It should be. I would think so.
You know what I mean? It's all made out of petroleum.
I feel like that's another missed opportunity.
So I just don't know. Maybe people just have a bad.
Hey, Mr. President Biden, can you please look into this if you're watching this podcast?
You probably got it. He gonna forget.
Huh?
I take my nap and wake up.
Oh.
Damn, I am president. I'm
What?
Wow.
But yeah, I think in conclusion, EVs and ICE engines are definitely still going to have their own place in the market. It's you can't just have one.
I think I think we're gonna see.
I think thinking that is just not logical. It's
Yeah.
irrational to think that one's going to be the main thing. Everyone's going to want to prefer different type of things for different things.
I think I think we're gonna have hybrids for a while, and I'm still holding out for Tony Stark to find that sustainable fuel source.
You mean Elon Musk?
I don't know. Elon Musk is doing a lot of weird stuff lately, so hopefully he.
Even the Chinese are starting to produce their own Elon Musks. I don't know. Have you seen all those lookalikes?
I think the man he's really stressing himself out,
Yeah.
and he's really just turning into a weird fellow lately.
Kind of excited for him to buy Twitter, and then it was really heartfelt when it didn't work out. So
Yeah, that's under an SEC investigation.
Anyway, that's a whole other topic for a whole other podcast. But anyway, this is S550 Menace,
that's
Charles,
15 minutes.
and this is
Argent P
P
on Instagram.
on Instagram with his electric Tesla, and he also has a Toyota Tacoma, which we'll be doing some work on in our normal videos on the Spooky Road series. So stay tuned for all that. Thanks for tuning in today, everyone. This is kind of like the first experiment on doing a podcast and a live video cast. So tell us what you think in the comments. Let us know any suggestions, any future topics you might want to hear about. Anything like that, just leave those comments below. And please like this video. If you did like it, just go ahead and like it, and go ahead and subscribe to the channel, Project Garage. All kinds of stuff going on Project Garage, whether it's Charles' Mustang, my 240, or any other car that's in my shop, or Arjit's Toyota Tacoma, or his Tesla, or his journey on buying his next sports car. He's doing a lot of stuff like that. So Project Garage is going to be your hub for car content. So just stay tuned, hit the subscribe button, and we'll see you guys next time on The Cold Start.
Peace.